Hello everybody and welcome back to our stream of Sid Meier's Pirates, the 2004 edition, one of the greatest pirate games ever made. I am your hostess with the mostess, Erevis Undercroft, and I am glad to see all of you. Hello Break, hello Rose. I hope y'all are doing well today. Let's get right into it, shall we? Let's see, last week we were sailing around the northern part of the Panama, like around the Panama Canal, I believe it was, digging up treasure, doing some shenanigans. Today we're sitting cleanly and happily at Jamaica. Rick says, I have frozen pizza. Frozen pizza sounds really good. What kind of frozen pizza? What do you have on top of it? That's what I'm curious about. But I think today, Tono, what's Tono? That sounds very interesting. Yeah, not frozen anymore. I would certainly hope not. It would just make it much more difficult to eat if it were still frozen. I'll get our save loading here. Oh, tuna. Okay, I gotcha. Tuna on pizza. I bet that's tasty. That sounds nice. Maybe with a little bit of like green onion or something along those lines. Oh no, is the game crashing already? That's unfortunate. 1 second, I'm going to reload this. Off to a blazing start today, quite clearly. My computer's been acting a little funky lately. I think I need to change my browser. More like normal onion. That's still pretty good though. Normal onion I can see going pretty well with tuna overall. There we go. Let's try this. Oh no, I messed up again. We're doing wonderfully today, quite clearly. Oh my goodness. I thought tuna was a universal way to refer to tuna pizza. No, I've never heard of tuna on pizza, actually. I've seen sardines on pizza. That's one I've seen. And that's mainly because it's like very salty and very pickly. So that seems to be pretty common, at least in the US. Yeah, I know, right? Because there are some sauces, like, what is it? Oh my goodness, if Luce was here, they would know. But there are some sauces that are very popular that include a large amount of, like, tuna. Puttanesca, that's the one I was thinking of. I had to think back. I had to go back in my brain and be like, series of unfortunate events. Pasta something that has sardines in it. That goes on pizza. It's puttanesca. Pasta puttanesca. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and visit the tavern. We'll hire a few more men if we can. Though I think we're almost at capacity if I remember correctly. But yeah, if we check our status, we're sitting pretty nicely on... We got our Brig of War, which is a very, very nice ship. We've got our sloop as kind of our backup, which is also an advantage. In terms of status, we've got 6 out of 24 wealth points. We beat Steed Bonnet yesterday, which is very exciting. Number 7 pirate overall. We found one of our lost relatives, and I think we have a lead on one of the others. We have a burgeoning romance going on in Port Royal with the governor's daughter. And we found 3 different of the 9 treasures, so Captain Kidd, Rock Brasilianos, and Jack Rackham's. Currently sitting pretty as Baroness with both the English and the Dutch. So pretty good progress there. And that reminds me, I need to make sure that I check and see what our current status is with the ongoing wars. Because that's something I fail to keep track of. It looks like the Spanish and the Dutch are at war, and the English and the French, and the Dutch and the French. So the Spanish and the French are both still valid privateering targets for the purposes of like getting us more standing. But I don't know for how much longer that's going to be the case. We'll have to find out. And for treasure maps, I don't think we have any treasure maps at the moment. I know we've got like our big bad villain who kicked our butt the other day. I don't remember his name though, starts with an M. And then Baron Raimundo is wandering around somewhere on the eastern side, up here near Martinique or Guadeloupe. And we do have a few other pirates we can beat up. If we find Bart Roberts or Jack Rackham, we can sink them, you know, just to assert dominance, and also because they carry a lot of treasure. But yeah, I think that's most of it overall. I think the plan, at least for right now, we want to try and keep our roll going. So we'll probably try and hunt down Raimondo today, just to kind of get a little bit more progress on one of the relative missions and get some maps for that, because that would be ideal. We want to keep expanding down here in Puerto Cabello, and I think something else I want to try today is raiding some of the small settlements along the coast. So we need to like go around to some of the smaller like English and Dutch settlements, get a bunch of dudes. Oh really? What was the video about? Let's sail back down to Aruba and Curacao. We'll try and capture a few prizes along the way. Then we'll man up down there, we'll get a bunch of dudes, and then we'll go around and try and find some small villages and try the ground combat out, because that's something I haven't tried in this game. And I've heard it's pretty interesting, although, you know, like most things, fairly simple. And then we've got a good amount of money, so I might as well get all our repairs done here and get some upgrades in, because the Desiree is going to become quite a formidable ship if we get a few upgrades in her. Situation about the hotel there and all their visible staff being white, French, or Swedish. I think I saw something similar about that. Something along the lines of like there's supposed to be, there's a policy in place where all of the beaches are like public access. But the hotels are primarily catered to white folks and are set up. Yeah, we'll take this prize, why not? And are set up in such a way that like it sort of privileges the ability of white people to access the white guests at the hotel, to access the beaches over and above the locals. And of course, I'm sure most of those hotels aren't like owned by local folks either. They're probably owned by, you know, like large international hotel chains and things like that. Yeah, it very well might be. I don't remember their name off the top of my head, unfortunately. I wish that they would stop shooting me. Very rude. Yeah, I'll take that. Thanks. Don't mind if I do, Mr. Merchantman. It's so nice having a brig, because now I've actually got the ability to carry a substantial amount of loot. As opposed to the sloop, which had pretty much no cargo hold, which was a bit of a problem. Yeah, we're going to sail east for a little bit, I think, and then sort of like break south if the wind will let us get on the beam. Because remember, beam reach means like on the side, right? You want the wind sort of coming in from your side with these boats, especially, because the sloop can kind of cheat a little bit and get what's called close hold, which is where the wind is kind of coming at you, albeit at some fairly like shallow angles. And part of that is because of the way that the sloop is rigged. So it's rigged with a big like either gaff sail or lateen sail or like an angled sail, basically, right? Whereas with a brig, she's square rigged, meaning that she has big square sails facing mostly forward, which means she can really only sail with the wind. You can tack a little bit with the brig, especially if you have what's called stay sails, which are kind of the sails that go between the masts. So you can kind of see on this, she's got a few stay sails. These ones that are kind of triangular that run between, these are called the stay sails. And then this right here will be her mainsail, and this right here will be her mizzen mast, or her main mast and her mizzen mast. So her main and her mizzen are square rigged, but then the stay sails are there to try and do a little bit of what the sloop can do, which is sort of catch that sideways wind. You can get away with like going sideways, for lack of a better way of putting it. Yeah, like ship riggings are really interesting and cool. How often do they get stuck? In terms of like being able to like not be able to sail with the wind, it was pretty common. It was called being becalmed. In fact, Henry Avery's ship, the man we've been talking about, one of the theories as to why Avery's ship took so long to get to La Coruña in the first place, the prevailing theory is that they were becalmed outside of the port that they left from. So they were basically stuck in the middle of the main shipping lane for an indeterminate amount of time because one or more of their ships just didn't have the right sorts of sails to deal with the wind. So there's no like confirmation of that, it's just a theory, but it was very common. It was one of the reasons, like one of our first streams, we talked about Basil Ringrose. And we talked about William Dampier and sort of their voyage across the Isthmus of Darien. Part of what made Ringrose's records of like the wind and the currents so valuable was specifically trying to avoid that fate of being stuck in a place, wandering into a place where the prevailing winds, like the winds you generally have, weren't friendly to the types of sails that you had. You would like look at these charts and be like, we know the wind generally goes in this direction most of the year this time, so we can probably take this route and not get stuck. Yeah, absolutely. It was a big part of the reason too that sloops were so popular in the Caribbean, specifically because that was the thing that tended to happen. So as a sloop would be a lot more flexible, it would have a much smaller draft, which is to say that like she would require less water under the hull in order to move. Because there are large amounts of shoals and reefs and things like that all over the Caribbean, especially among the smaller islets. So if you have something like a sloop, you're going to have a much easier time of sort of navigating those waters, those particular kinds of waters, even though you might have a harder time in the stronger prevailing winds that you find on the open ocean. And you can do a few things, like in this game, and to a lesser extent in Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is a little more arcadey, where you can kind of zigzag across the wind like this, see? Because now I'm catching the wind on the beam, so I can go fast for a while, and then I'll turn, and I'll go south for a minute. You can see my wind indicator down here, and where my pennants are. I can go pretty fast here, and I just kind of close haul it with the wind as much as I can to get away with whatever I can. And that's kind of how you travel upwind in a big boat. But the rigging on larger ships gets horribly complicated, and how the ship behaves. Like, ships weren't something that was manufactured on like a line like you would have like a modern day car, right? Each individual ship, was a sort of a plan on someone's notebook, right? Also looks like crew morale is getting really bad. I might have to like delay this and end this voyage. That could be a shame. I saw a person sailing from Hawaii to French Polynesia, and seeing that was quite interesting. Was it one of the ones on the raft? Because I know of a couple different experiments people have had over time trying to like prove that people can get to Hawaii from French Polynesia. Let's see here. Trade with a merchant. Normal sailing boat? Interesting. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. We'll sell off our goods here. We're hurting on food for a little bit, so I'll grab us a little bit more food. Although it looks like we might be getting to the point where our expedition is coming to an end. Henry Morgan's treasure. Yes, please. I'll take a map for that. Got stuck in the doldrums for a few days. That sounds unfortunate. Every time I hear about someone being stuck in the doldrums in real life, I just mentally imagine the Cabin Fever song from Muppet Treasure Island. You may be interested to know that Baron Raimondo has a lightning-quick low slash. Yeah, I know. And he's over here to the west near Santa Catalina. Over near Panama. Hold up in Maracaibo, I see. Pretty close to here. I'm not sure whether I want to chance it or not, because if I go ahead and crew up and go after one of those guys, I've already got really poor morale. So my concern is if I do that, then I'm going to end up in a situation where I'm just going to get mutinied before I can capture anything. Even though I definitely want to capture some things. I'll try to get at least one village. That'll be the plan. We need to get at least one village. Yeah, that'd be rip. Yeah, that would be unfortunate. Because, like, remember in this game, it's sort of tied to your health. So once your health is gone, there's only so much you can do. And your game is essentially over. Baron of Service, please come in. War with the Spanish and the French. Yes, I'm aware. Recently captured a trade galleon. I did indeed. Aha! I'm promoted to Countess. Ship repairs will be done at cost in Dutch ports. Very nice. And an expanded estate. Cool. Ooh. Yeah, let's do a dance. Yeah, why not? I know that I've set my sights on the governor's daughter of Jamaica, but might as well. It would be rude to refuse, right? Even though this is my least favorite minigame. Oh no. There we go. Apparently there's like a combo meter that you can get if you get the timing right. I don't know what the timing's supposed to be. Maybe it's on the beat, but you can see those small hearts that appear. They only seem to appear when I hit them at certain times, which is very strange. I think it is on the beat. I'm getting better at this, right? I'm not stumbling over my feet every single time now. Much better. Yeah, it's feeling better too, which is nice. A recent visitor told wondrous tales of the fabled lost city of the Incas. I was able to make some quick notes. I trust these with you for safekeeping. Okay. Sounds like a lost city to me. Cool. Alright, we're gonna risk it. Risk it for the biscuit. But yeah, last stream we were talking about Henry Avery and his mutiny. How he ended up becoming captain of the Charles II, renaming her the Fancy. And we just gotten to the point where he was heading for Madagascar. He'd captured 3 English merchant ships. And essentially, speaking of doldrums, I think I'm stuck in the doldrums as it is. They're headed for Maracaibo, that's fine, they can do that. Yeah, he captured 3 English merchant ships. He'd pressed 9 of their crew, because he didn't have enough crew to man all of his guns aboard the Fancy. Remember, she was a very big, very well-gunned ship. Oh, we're gonna run out of food. Yeah, it's time to wrap this up. This voyage needs to be wrapped up. Oh dear. Let's tack a little bit. But yeah, so he ended up pressing 9 English sailors into his crew in order to man his guns mostly. And also the rest of the ship, because they only had 46 men for what was essentially a 150-person boat. And then ended up writing them all bills of sale, trying to like pass it off as a trade, right? And that was all part of Avery's plan. He was trying to model himself off of previous generations of gentlemen pirates, like Henry Morgan, like Francis Drake. Yeah, I think we'll wrap up this voyage here. Yeah, we'll sell the Brunei, because we won't be able to keep her anyway. We've got some nice upgrades done so far on the Desiree. We'll keep her for the next round, and we'll divide the plunder. Alright. Great anticipation, the loot is divided among the crew. Each man eagerly takes a small fortune of 114 gold as a share. You'll be able to keep your flagship Desiree, and 20% share comes to 4,303. Desiree, haha, I know a few people whose name is Desiree. Yeah, I know, right? What I get for capturing a French boat. Let's see here. We'll keep his adventure. I'm liking this difficulty. I also suspect that since this is an older game, like the difficulty is an exponential curve. Common name in the Netherlands too. Interesting. It's a good name, I like it. Alright, let's see. We'll pull some men aboard here. Henry Morgan's treasure map, yeah, I'll take it. I'll burn some of my money. Near Santo Domingo, which is a fairly small place altogether. And then we've got a piece of what looks like some sort of a village here, something Del Val. We'll have to look on the map of Santo Domingo and see if we can find anything there. I remember those sails in the Spanish war galleon San Josef. Yeah, and I know he's over near Santa Catalina, which is tempting. Left Maracaibo is headed in the direction of Santiago de Cuba. Okay. So heading from Maracaibo would be around here, heading up towards Santiago. Alright. Alright, what do we have for food? 7 months at the moment, that's plenty. We have got a full complement of guns. Go ahead and set sail. We'll stop in at Bonaire, and then we'll go by Aruba and see if we can get a bunch of men together. Welcome aboard, mates. I think that should get us close to our maximum complement. Yeah, why not? I'll take another Henry Morgan chunk. And Dominique del Valle, which I believe is a mission.
When in the lab?
Yeah, he has all the upgrades. That's not news. Alright. Good enough. Alright, so let's see. Santo Domingo. I know I can scroll with the mouse, but it's so difficult to get like right to the edges. It's very unfortunate. Alright, there's San Dominique de Valle. So that'll be kind of our touchstone. And this right here must be the point that's on the treasure map. Yeah, that'll be the point that's on the treasure map. So if we dock kind of like in this little elbow here, just off of the peninsula, we'll go ahead and anchor up there, and then we just walk inland and hopefully find the treasure. Easy peasy, right? But yeah, so Morgan ends up taking these 3 English ships, and his next goal is to try and get himself some operating capital and find more men, which is the whole reason he stopped those ships in the first place. With his previous career, he had some experience as what's called an interloper, which is a type of illegal slaver, because all slavery among the English at that time, like throughout the 1600s and through the early 1700s, was all done by the Africa Company, which was a company much like the East India Company that was given like exclusive rights to conduct the slave trade in and around the coast of Africa, and anyone who wasn't officially affiliated with them, they had permission to sink and confiscate their goods. So Morgan had previously done a large amount of work outside of the purview of that company, something he was very familiar with. And he knew that lots of pirate raiders, oh my goodness, so many of them out right now. Oh no, I went too far north. Avery knew that one of the main exports of Madagascar was in human beings. That if he could secure himself some slaves, he could enslave some people, then he could take those people and sell them in Madagascar and make himself enough money to complete his voyage. Okay, they got some food here. Grab some food. I guess we can't dock there. It counts it as docking at the mission. Yeah, we'll anchor here. Why not? Alright. So we're anchored here on the peninsula. That must be our little bay. So if we push north, check our fleet status. We want to basically just go due north from this point, and that should bring us exactly where we need to be. Hopefully. Yeah, not seeing much. There it is, right there. Perfect. Easy. Piece of cake. Good start to the voyage. Yeah, that's exactly what Morgan did. He went and used some of the same tricks he'd learned working as an interloper. 10,000 pieces. Excellent. Alright, and then we're going to sail along the coast here, see if we can find a small village to raid. And then we're going to head southwest and go hunt down Baron Raimondo. But yeah, he used some of his same tactics that he sort of gained, or that he learned while working as an interloper, which basically came down to convincing people to come aboard. And then leaving with them on board the ship. Mysterious travel officers sell you a Dutch rudder. This reveals the location of many hidden settlements and can be yours for only 1,600 gold pieces. Hmm. Yeah, I'll take it. Seems useful. Jack Rackham sails in the pirate sloop of war Charles, located on the northern coast of Cuba, or Hispaniola. Interesting. Ah, he's heading here. Alright, let's not be around here when he gets here then. Talk to the mayor here. Our farmers have developed a disease-resistant variety of sugarcane, which we gladly share with our fellow colonists. Let's send them to Port Royal. See if we can protect them. But yeah, after he'd gone and acquired his capital, so to speak, Avery's next goal was to make the Fancy as fast as he possibly could. Because you can't take what you can't catch. So he went and proceeded to do something called careening the Fancy, and he also raised her. So careening, what you would do is you would pull the boat up onto the shoreline, up in the sand, right? Merchantman. Excellent. Yeah, you would pull the boat up on the sand, and then you would go and you would stake her down on the water side of it, so that she couldn't slip back into the water. Then you would connect a bunch of ropes up into her rigging and into her hull, and you would pull her over, and then you would have people go in with a variety of tools and scrape all of the barnacles and the crud off the bottom of the ship. And then you would do it on the other side. And what that would do is it would make the boat itself faster. Because you were removing all of the junk, right? Alright, how are we doing for food? 2 months food. We need to capture something to get some food. Let's keep an eye out for, ideally, a Spanish ship. Yeah, trade galleon. We'll take that. We don't want to capture her anyway, so... Yes, also kind of intense, but at least you have the tools, right? We're talking about dudes with, like, axes and chisels and a bunch of ropes doing basically the same thing, and it was incredibly common, especially in the Caribbean. Like, that whole process was fairly involved and also fairly common. It was something you would need to do every, like, 4 to 8 months, more or less, if you were sailing on the Caribbean. That was exactly what Avery did. Let's see. Bunch of gold. Cool, and a bunch of food, which is exactly what I need, and some goods to sell. Excellent. Then we sink her. Like, I would keep her, but she's in rough shape. We need a tender, though. We definitely need a tender of some kind. I guess we should have protected that little ship. Anyway, the other part of what Avery undertook was what's called as raising, which most ships, especially ships that were designed for trade, were fairly comfortable by the standards of the time, especially like a large ship like the Fancy. You would have like a captain's cabin, you would have all these like dividers, these bulkheads, that would be inside of the ship, creating compartments and other sort of places where people could have a little bit of privacy, usually the officers, because the men were still kind of stacked nose to tail as much as possible. And the process of raising would involve like taking all of that stuff and tearing it out, because any sort of a bulkhead that was in place, any bulkhead that you had to deal with, was potentially splinters that could rip their way through the boat and everyone inside of it. I want to capture this payroll ship. It's a fairly rare and very good thing to have. Yeah, so what would happen was, like, during the process of raising, they would rip a bunch of those bulkheads out to prevent splinters, and also any sort of decorative elements, like you would occasionally have like iron or brass fittings around the portholes for the guns, stuff of that nature. They would go and tear those off as well in order to make the ship faster. Take out some of her guns here. Get in here, hopefully before she can turn. Yep, will come about. Hopefully slip her guns here because she's going to try and get a broadside off. Good. And she surrenders, strikes her colors. Good. 800 pieces. Good. And she's pretty fast, so if she's a fast galleon, we'll keep her as a tender, and we'll just head back into port. One time I was on a cargo ship on a dry dock, and it was let back into the water while I was on it. Oh my goodness. And then it ended up taking on water. Oh no. So I don't know how true this is. Part of my understanding is that a lot of those cargo ships are almost always taking on water. I'm sure it was much worse, especially if they put it back on the dock again. That sounds scary. It also sounds like quite the experience. Like, did you feel it like heal over as it went back into the water, or was it more of a situation where it was just kind of like gently let down? This was pretty bad. Oh no. That's something that's fairly like unique to like the modern age of like boats in general too, is like the process of dry docking, but also like shipbreaking. You've got all these ships that are filled with incredibly expensive and valuable resources, which was kind of the case in the age of sail, but like a lot of it was in the fittings specifically. So these would be the things that Morgan and his crew were like tearing off. We're going real slow. Oops, I forgot to set it back to round shot. That was a mistake. Maintenance mistakes like this aren't uncommon though. Oh no, this is a dock that pumped water in, so it wasn't that bad. Ah, okay. Come on, baby. Bring her about. Vessel's taking on way more water than should. Happens kind of probably too much. Yeah. Yeah, like the process of shipbreaking in general is pretty intense in the modern era, but it follows a lot of the same sort of procedures. You go in, you grab all the things that are like heavy or valuable on the boat, then you reuse them. Ooh, a surgeon, excellent. You reuse them later on, right? And we'll sink her. I don't want her. She's slow. I don't think we need quite that much food. Although we might as well take it because they don't have anything else of value on the ship, so... Oh, they're sending a pirate hunter after us. That's exciting. There's Baron Raymondo. If we forget, too close to water of tight areas, yeah. Close off watertight areas, yeah. They were far too busy to put up a gangway again. Oh no. So you were just on it in perpetuity until they figured out what was going on and fixed it. It's funny. I'm sure it wasn't very comfortable. Wasn't waiting around for it, so I was taken off the ship with a telescopic aerial work platform. Oh wow. I bet that was a really cool view. We'll go through the storm here. I don't know if that's going to help us or hurt us. It looks like it hurt us a little bit. Alright, and she's turning back. Good. What I'm curious about with the Dutch rudder is, like, does it show us where those settlements are? Like, do I need to, like, zoom in? I think that's what this is. Yeah, because, like, that wasn't listed before. La Havre. Lost Harbor's now listed. Yeah, there's a lot of little towns listed now. That's really cool. Stuff like that kind of sucks. It's climbing at altitude without protection, essentially. Yeah, that's fair. Raises the question of whether you'd rather be on the aerial platform without any protection or on the boat that is potentially sinking. I'm sure it wasn't any real danger, but like massive danger if it was still in like the dry dock. But it doesn't sound pleasant. And I'm sure they would rather you be somewhere safe. I know I would rather you be somewhere safe. But yeah, after Avery managed to have the fancy careened and raised, She was essentially one of the best armed, fastest ships on the water, period. Because she was state-of-the-art at the time that her hull was laid down. She was extremely well armed, especially for a ship that wasn't specifically a military ship. And now, she was in the hands of a very clever and highly motivated pirate. You'd also be surprised how often telescopic port platforms are used as cranes. Oh no. Yeah, I've done similar things in my life because I've worked in sawmills. My dad worked in the lumber industry for a while. And I know that in terms of shenanigans you can get up to, using forklifts for things forklifts aren't meant to be used for is pretty common. So I imagine it's a similar thing, except you're pulling it upwards instead of pushing it upwards with the forks of a forklift. Alright, let's consult with the shipwright. So now that we've reached the rank we are with the Dutch, it looks like we just get free repairs, which is really good news for us. Makes me very happy. Yeah, we'll just take some more men on board. Forklifts are basically the everything tool. Truer words have never been spoken. Jean Lafitte's buried treasure. Yes, please. Take another treasure map. Searching in the blank. Forklifts are, yeah. And forklifts have surprising utility. Don Fernando II, bound for Caracas, is carrying over 1,000 in gold. That's chump change at this point, lady. Although it is really close, we could conceivably get all up in there. Yeah, the one thing that was holding Avery back at this point was still his lack of men. He left Santa Marta and was heading in the direction of Maracaibo. He's heading down here. We'll have to go poke around down that way and see if we can find him. I went down the street with the pallet stacker a few times, poor thing. Oh no! Poor thing you, or poor thing the pallet stacker? I'm going to take a short break here, everybody. I need to go AFK for a second, but I will be back in 3 or 4 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon to continue our voyage westward, heading for Maracaibo. Alrighty, I am back. Yeah, so Avery's objective. I'll provide a visual aid here just in case. I wish the music would stay going from the game because this game has really nice music. But yeah, as an example, pull this up real quick. This right here would be sort of the map that we have to work with. Madagascar is where he was heading for. You can kind of see here, going from Spain up in Europe, all the way down to Madagascar. And then on the very eastern edge of Madagascar, there's a small island that's called St. Mary. And the sort of legend that's attached to St. Mary is this idea, this sort of pirate legend, like known as like Libertalia, which was supposed to be like the OG pirate republic, like the magical land of pirates. Kind of like how people like see Tortuga because of the Pirates of the Caribbean films. So that was that was Avery's objective, was to get to Madagascar, specifically this little port on St. Mary Island, or the island of St. Mary. I need to make sure this is going correctly. There we go. Yeah, there was a man there named Adam Baldridge who had initially set up the fort on St. Mary specifically for the purposes of providing services to interlopers and pirates in general, as well as privateers in the area. He was able to provide food, and he would buy like certain types of cargo. Yeah, I know you're sailing over there. Let's see, are there any small villages near here that we can hit? We might be able to hit Santa Maria right here. I think I would like to try to hit that, since we have a bunch of food to work with, and we already have a bunch of money, and we have a large number of crew. So we'll try and hit them and play around with the ground combat. Yeah, so once Avery made it to St. Mary, one of the advantages is that current and wind-wise, let's see here. Ooh, info and Sig kit. See, I'll take that info. Food, luxuries, gold and spice. Good price on spices. Garrison of 280 soldiers. Caracas. Treasure fleet heading for Caracas. Eva Blair and Raimundo. Last I heard he was holed up in Maracaibo. Alright, so he's back east. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to anchor here. I'm going to take my dudes, and we're going to march down the coast and see if we can attack them this way. Apparently not. How do you plunder outposts then? That's the question. Are you not able to? It might only be like larger cities now that I think of it. Maybe you can't take over these small towns. Well, that's a shame. It's probably just the bigger cities, which means we'd have to have a lot more people in order to take them unless we weaken them substantially. As you can see there, Santa Maria has a large number. Maybe that's what this is. You can see on the map here, they've got these markers. And these markers sort of indicate the military prowess of these different places. So perhaps, I don't know how old this information is. That's the other sort of half of that. If the information is old, then it's not going to be very helpful in terms of steering our decision-making process, unfortunately. Yeah, now that Avery had reached Madagascar, he was able to offload a bunch of his supplies that he'd gathered from the English ships. And because of Madagascar's proximity to... What are you? A bark. Just a bark. Is that our guy? I think that's our guy. No, that's Montalban. That's the one we don't want, because he's too scary. We can't handle him. We want Raimundo. But yeah, so Madagascar is also basically on all of the wind and currents, more or less, in the area. Or at least you can reach them pretty easily, which that was what allowed Avery to go and capture a couple of Dutch and one French prize, which sort of aided his image he was building for himself. Remember, he gave those bills of sale to the English sailors. Spanish raider. He was trying to build up this image, much like Francis Drake and Henry Morgan, of someone who was working for the interests of the English and the English crown. He didn't want to be seen as a pirate. He wanted to be seen as someone who was useful to the crown and could be rewarded accordingly at a later date. That was his whole sort of raison d'etre. But between those three prizes, he managed to get himself up to his full complement of 150 men aboard the Fancy, as well as, you know, well supplied. I was going to watch at the start and got very distracted. Oh no. No worries, love. It's okay. do 8 guns, 50 men. You've got a lot on your plate as I understand it. Especially with all the router troubles. Did you ever get that fixed? Did your new one arrive yet? Got a new one right now, yeah. Good. Good, good, good. Now you'll be able to stream again. Fantastic. No custom stuff on it, but it seems to work. Okay. Working is good. Working as a start. Take all the sugar. We need to offload some of these guns because we don't need any of these guns. We'll skip her because she's just a regular galleon. She's going to be more trouble than she's worth in terms of hauling stuff. Take the goods. We'll drop some food. We really only need about like 8 months maybe. And the goods are what we can actually sell. Yeah, yay. Yeah, I'm really excited that you can stream again, Rose. Makes me happy. Alright, so we're looking for Maracaibo, which is going to be down here. Sort of on the coast. We're going to head over here and see if we can find our old friend. Okay, so that's what it is. So if you want to do the ground combat, you have to attack a city. It can't be a settlement, it has to be a city. And then it's pirates versus soldiers. What happens if I sneak into town? Would have sucked if that was a Friday. Yeah, good timing. Good timing for sure. Oh no. But yeah, now that Avery was all kitted out, the only thing that sort of remained was for him to actually go do the thing he came to do. Which was to head for the Gulf of Aden and raid the ships on Hajj. Which, for those who aren't familiar, the Hajj is one of the major pillars of Islam. It is a pilgrimage that you're supposed to undertake at least once in your lifetime, specifically to Mecca, and a primary means of doing that, like, bonk. A primary means of doing that at the time was by sea. Understandably so. Oh, they're little arrows. I missed the little arrows last time. That's cute. Let's see if he's going to come this way. Nope, he's not. Cool. His buddy is, though. That's a little worrisome. Is there anywhere to hide over there? No, there's not really. There's 3 of them. Oh my goodness. Wait for it to come by and then we'll knock him out again. But yeah, Avery was, there's no historical evidence for it, but what was likely happening was that Avery had probably heard of some of the adventures of another pirate named Thomas II, who was a North American pirate. He received privateering, received his letters of marque, privateer from Monk. Excellent. From colonial governors. How he found himself, in the vicinity of the Red Sea off the coast of Yemen is modern-day Yemen. Is anybody's guess, probably the money. It's usually the money, right? But Thomas II had already succeeded in doing what Avery was trying to do, which is, raiding the ships that were going on Hajj and making an awful lot of money from it. Problem with this is that each time I knock one of these guys out, it makes the next one that much closer. Just a problem. And as luck would have it, Thomas II was still in the area on an entirely different voyage. I might try to just run past him here. Nope, that's not gonna fly. Oh, this is maddening. Come on. Very frustrating. Don't do that. Not this way. Anywhere but this way. The other way, please. Come on. Go. 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 Good. Good. Bonk. Bonk. Good. Whew. Alright. Let's get out of here. Can I climb these? That's the other thing, is if these look like they can be climbed. Oh, good. Excellent. That's what I needed to know. Is that I could just hop these. And I know I can hide behind these, like, little straw bits. Oh, he's coming back this way. Ring around the rosy. Bonk. Excellent. But yeah, as luck would have it. What can I do with these? Can I hide in those? No, I can't hide in those. That's a shame. That's exactly who Avery would meet. This is the tavern. This is where we need to be because we need to find more information on Raimondo. The citizens of Maracaibo have gathered at the tavern this evening to discuss the latest happenings, including the fact that you captured a Spanish trade galleon. Who would you like to talk to? Let's talk to this guy. No, I don't need a ring. I'm good, thank you. Spanish treasure fleet is headed for Rio de la Hacha with a fortune in gold bullion. That's exciting. Montalban, last I heard he was holed up in Cartagena. But no sign of Raimondo. Did we miss him? We must have missed him. I guess we have to go back east, maybe. Although usually Raimondo, I guess he does get around a bit, but he seems to mostly hang out in Spanish waters, is the thing. Might as well hit this galleon while we're here. But this is where Avery took the opportunity as well to sort of lay another piece of his legend down, because he stopped at a trade post along the way when he left Madagascar and started heading west. Took out all of her guns with one volley. That's how it's done. I'll take your gold, thanks very much. I'll take your sugar as well, thanks very much. It's time to stop off and we might just need to keep her. But if they send a pirate hunter, she's going to be a problem. We'll do this. We'll shortchange ourselves on food a little bit. We'll sink her, and then we'll sail out of here, and then we'll sell off, and then take another shot west and see if we can find Raimondo. But yeah, the message that Avery left was actually recorded. And what he basically said was, I've got it written down here. It says, to all English commanders, let this satisfy that I was riding here at this instant in ye ship Fancy Man of War, formerly Charles of ye Spanish expedition, who departed Coronia ye 7th of May 1894, being and am now in a ship of 46 guns, 150 men, bound to seek our fortune, never as yet wronged any English or Dutch, which is absolutely not true. He had done both of those things by this point, nor never intend while I am commander. But you know, never intend is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. Alright, we'll head into Curacao and sell off some of this. He said, wherefore, as I commonly speak with all ships, I desire whoever comes to ye perusal of this, to take this signal, that if you or any whom you may inform are desirous to know what we are at a distance, then make your flag. And he says antient, but it's basically like your big flag that says like who you are. So you would fly a huge flag off the back of your ship, show you're English, you're French, you know, whatever. Start selling off some of this. Yeah, he was basically saying you take your emissary flag, or take your flag, roll it up in a ball or bundle, and hoist it on your mizzen peak, with your mizzen being furled, and I shall answer ye with the same, and never molest you, for my men are hungry, stout, and resolute, and should they exceed my desire, I cannot help myself. So what Avery is basically doing there is he's taking his responsibility as captain, and he's offloading that onto his men and basically saying, these guys want a bunch of treasure. There's only so much I can do. I'll help you if I can, but if we accidentally sink you, it's totally not my fault. I'm being pushed to. He's laying all of this extra blame onto his men specifically. And he signed it as yet an Englishman's friend at Johanna, February 28th, 1694/5, Henry Avery. And then also leaves another note. He's like, here's 160 odd Frenchmen, armed, or 160 odd French armed men now at Mohila, who will wait for opportunity of getting any ship. Take care of yourself. So not only has he gone and sort of sewn these fake bills of sale with these other Englishmen that he captured earlier on, there's not much reason to add the bronze cannons to this. I think we're good. We do need to visit the tavern though and see if we can get more word on Raimondo. Might as well take a few extra men aboard. Never hurts. And Kumana, info on Kumana. Let's see, a population of 3,200 farmers and a garrison of 160 soldiers. We might be able to take that if we can get a few more men, because we're already 150 almost. If we get a few more, we might be able to take that over. As the main port city for the province of New Andalusia, Kumana is often in need of goods. The shipwright can supply copper plating. I think we get a few more men and then go after that, huh? If anyone has any thoughts on that, I'd be curious to hear. Pretty quiet, okay. Raimondo, I last heard he had left Maracaibo and was headed in the direction of Kumana. Perfect! Exactly where I want to be. So we'll head down here. We'll go down, I forget which settlement is down here, but I know there's a Dutch settlement to the south here. We can pick up more men there, head east, fight Raimondo, and if we have enough left, we can try and take the settlement of Kumana. I think we have a plan. But yeah, like what Avery is clearly trying to do here is build his legend, but also sort of covered his butt as he's sailing. Because he wants to do what Henry Morgan did, which is to like push the edges of what he is allowed to do and get away with all of the extra profit without having to like pay the cost later on. And it's important that at the time, like, he wouldn't have seen himself as a pirate. Like, we see him as a pirate now because of what he did. He was seen as a pirate by the East India Company and the Crown eventually because of what he ended up doing in the Gulf of Aden. But at the time, he probably saw himself more as a privateer. He described himself as a gentleman of fortune, or a gentleman made from fortune, who must seek his fortune. That will take you aboard. Will give us enough to go toe-to-toe with him, hopefully. Chapeau. No thanks. Back rack on the ship has been upgraded with copper plating. Yeah, that makes sense. We should go fight him at some point. Hold up in Kumana. Okay, that's good. Alright, looks like we're heading for Kumana. Because all of these sort of the edges of these roles, they were very much muddied, and this is also kind of just after the dawn of capitalism. So what many people had learned from the exploits of institutions like the East India Company, and from men like Henry Morgan and many, many others, is that if you make enough money for the right people, then you can get away with just about anything that you want. You can be forgiven for a lot of ills if you just deliver enough money to the right people. Alright, we don't want Caracas. We want Kumana. Getting close, but we're not quite there yet. These doldrums are annoying. The wind has got us in irons, which is a shame. I mean, I suppose nothing changed. Yes, absolutely. So what ended up changing was these systems became increasingly convoluted over time in order to protect the interests of people who most like stood to make the money. People, it's like generations of people pulling the ladder up after themselves, which is exactly what Avery ran up against. Because when Avery finally got to where he wanted to be, his target was a particular pass called Bab el-Mandeb in the Gulf of Aden, which is just south of the Red Sea, which to this day is a major trading. What's this? That's a small settlement. Are we north of Kumana yet? We are. Transport a new government heading for somewhere else. Alright, let's do this thing. Oh, there's Baron Raimondo. That's who I wanted. Get over here, you. No. Get over here. Fight me, you nerd. Alright, let's go for it. We got him outgunned, which is a good sign. What we really need to do is wear down his crew, because he has more crew than we do. Oh no. This isn't going well. Oh, he might have messed up. He kind of messed up. He definitely messed up. There's no way he can catch us on this heading. Which means we can just play with him. We'll just wear him down like this until he is nice and ready, and then we'll take him. Probably safer to tack into the wind than it is otherwise. Alright, that's down to 48. That's almost what I want. Yeah, that's the beauty of this particular like era in history, is that we have all these different people who are sort of taking the opportunity to try and feel out the edges and define what will later become sort of the framework of operating under capital. But right now, none of that exists. It's all very, very new. The East India Company is new. The Dutch East India Company is new. Alright. Get over here, Raimundo. You regret crossing swords with me. I've already beat you once. I'll gladly beat you again. I'll beat you like a drum at the company picnic. That analogy made no sense. I apologize. Get over here, you. Ye villain. Ye scoundrel. That's what I thought. Master Swordsman. This map should help you in your quest to restore your family. Good. That's something. Lost uncle. Search in the bit. Limited utility there. Might as well keep the ship. She's got a lot of sail damage, but she will sell well, and we also get free repairs now, remember? We want to keep like 6 months on hand. Let's do 30. Keep her. Oh, we got pirate hunters after us. That's exciting. If we keep on the beam, we might be able to outrun her, although she is a sloop. And we do have a couple very slow ships on. And, oh no. Alright. Screw it. We're gonna have to fight this pirate hunter. Oh no. Oh no. A little more even. This isn't gonna go well. I gotta beat him, and I gotta beat him fast. Got him. Whew. That was very close. That should not have been a win. Spicy. Okay. And her will just sink because we can't afford to like haul her along, basically. We're already short enough on crew. If we run into someone else like another hunter, then it's going to be really bad. This is the downside to having all these cool boats, is that like a lot of your crew ends up going into the boats. But yeah, like to this day, Bab el Mandeb like ends up like is still a huge hotspot for piracy. Oh no, so warm. How warm is it today, Break? What was it last time? It was like 27, you said? Oh my goodness. Yeah, like even to this day, Bab el Mandeb ends up being like a hotspot for piracy, like the Somali pirates in the early 2000s up into like 2011, 2013 or so, before everything started to like taper off. A lot of their attacks took place like in the same region. A lot of the healthy attacks on shipping in more recent years took place in the same sort of waters. Yeah, there we go. War galleon, baby. Sell. Alright, and then we'll stop in at the merchant while we're here in the big port. $89.6, yeah, it's too warm. Too warm, my friend. I'll talk with the governor. Still at war with the Spanish and the English, which is interesting. 26 degrees in my home at the moment. Ugh. On the inside, no thank you. Not a fan. Promoted to Marquess, exciting. As a result, merchants trade many more goods in Dutch ports. And an increase to the estate size. And the daughter? Yeah, no, I'm not. I already pledged my loyalty to the governor's daughter of Jamaica, madam. I'm sorry. I know I'm poly, but you know. But the sun is gone, so I have open stuff. That's a good idea. What's the humidity like where you're at? I know we had a little bit of a discussion in Rose's server about swamp coolers. Those can be really good if you have low humidity. I don't know if you've tried any of those before, like in the past. This is a problem because we keep running into everyone gets really grumpy. And I don't know why. Everyone gets so grumpy. Especially after we've already like taken so many prizes. We took a very large ship and made a lot of money and everyone's grumpy. Humidity is 62% at the moment. Yeah, that might be a little bit high for using a swamp cooler. Like my experience, as long as it's like at 50% or lower, it seems to work okay. Breaker. No, rude. Reef the sails here. We'll get full sail on her. We got one crew left. And then we'll board her. Mine. 600 pieces, I'll take it. Bunch of goods. And we'll sink her. That looks big. What is that? Big trade galleon? Big bad trade galleon? Get her in the stern a bit, take out a few of her guns. But yeah, Avery's tactic, even though it was new at the time, it was very, very sound. To the point where it's still commonly used nowadays. It's a very common route. And it was also the purview of like the Red Sea pirates, who were like a much earlier non-European era in piracy, in and around the same sort of like the same waters. We're getting where we might actually be able to like challenge Montalban at the rate this is going. Alright, we need to cut a lot of food and load a bunch of goods on board. and then probably dissolve this expedition as well, because we're getting to the point where everyone's getting real grumpy, and if that didn't like make them happy, then we're gonna have issues. But yeah, it was on the way to the Gulf of Aden that Avery ended up running into Thomas II and his flotilla of ships. I think it was the 4 or 5 ships that he had under his command at the time. And there's no record of like why this was the case, but Avery ended up being elected as admiral of the flotilla. So now he not only had the Fancy, which is an extremely capable ship in her own right, he had 4 or 5 other vessels under his command. So his options, not only was he in the right place at the right time, but he suddenly had access to all of the resources he could have wanted. Like originally he was just trying to get enough men to man his own ship. Now he had 5 of them. Although then you run into the classic issue of like, when are they going to backstab each other? Alright, let's see here. Let's sell off what we can from our goods. Prices on goods here just aren't great. And sugar doesn't sell for as much as it used to either, which is a shame. But you know, we'll take what we can get. We'll go to the shipwright, make sure that everything is properly repaired. We need to check. Oops. Let's hold off on that right quick. I need to see what my morale is looking like. I don't think it shows that anywhere, which is a shame. Nope, no info unless I'm at sea, which seems like an oversight to me. 32 years old and in poor health. That sounds about right for this time period. You've been at sea for 20 months and your crew of 118 is unhappy. There we go. That's where that is. Alright, let's divide our treasure. Though your health is poor, still as the months pass, you quickly become bored of life on land, and so your ship is refit. Bold crew is assembled as you prepare to set sail for further adventure. So it looks like our playthrough might be reaching an end. We haven't gotten all of our family members. We have not successfully fought Montalban. I looked it up and I don't think such a cooler will ever work much. Yeah, it only works in situations where you have fairly low humidity, like ideally under 25%. Because the way it works is it goes and it burns a bunch of energy, turning the water into vapor, essentially, right? Or, you know, turning it from ice to water also is another sort of step in that progression. Yeah, come aboard, guys. I want to take Kumana is what I want to do. Jean Lafitte's treasure? Yeah, I'll take that. Making our way along. The Saint Pierre bound from Martinique is carry over 1,000 in gold. I believe she's a French coastal bark. Ooh, exciting. She's going for Martinique and she's coming this far south? Wow. Yeah, might as well chase her down. Montalban has left Santo Domingo, is heading in the direction of Rio de la Hacha. Hi. Talk to the governor here real quick. Yes, at war with the evil Spanish. Understood. You promoted to Duchess? Oh my goodness. No, I'm not getting you a ring, lady. It's not happening. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to give up on that one. Oh, but that reminds me. One moment. So I wanted to show this. This is the map. One second. I've seen browser. So this is the map we had previously of Madagascar, right? And the placement of Madagascar. So Avery sailed from Madagascar up north towards what's modern-day Yemen, Somalia, and Saudi Arabia. That right there is called the Gulf of Aden. So the Gulf of Aden is this little section here along the water. And this is a modern-day map. So we have Yemen, we have Somaliland, we have Somalia, we have Ethiopia, Sudan. There's the Red Sea, which is the same sort of like Moses parting the waters Red Sea, right? It is that Red Sea. So this was Avery's goal, and you can see right here, this little narrow pass here right near Aden is Bab el-Mandeb. And you can see on this next map, this right here These are the Somali attacks from like 2003 up to 2009, even though they went further along. The majority of their attacks, after they had gotten past the stage where they were just operating off the coast of Somalia, they spent a lot of time up here in the Gulf of Aden, also near Bab el-Mandeb. Same sort of situation here. This is mostly the Houthi attacks, or the attacks that are attributed to the Houthi, up along the Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, all along Bab el-Mandeb Strait. So this is a very, like, almost ancient, like, arguably ancient. We probably just don't have histories of it. Hotspot for piracy of all forms, which is exactly where Avery was headed. There we go. Transitioned out of there. Alright, so we got a bunch of dudes from Curacao. We're headed east towards Bonaire. Really, it wasn't a matter of, like, if Avery would run into something to loot along the way, it was a matter of when. What ended up happening, though, we're just going to recruit a bunch of dudes here, try and beef up our crew enough to go take Kumana. I think will be the goal. Jean-Lapid's treasure map, sure. That's not very helpful, sir. That's a bunch of water. Do you happen to have the bottom right portion of the map? It's fine, I guess. Now the 6th most notorious pirate on the entire Spanish Main. Excellent. And then more info on Montalban, who we can't fight anyway. Get it repaired. She's taking a little bit of damage. Sail away. Alright, then we'll sail south. See if we can pick up a few more crew. What he ended up running into, though, was a ship called the Ganji Sawai, on which was a large collection of Mughal Empire nobility, as well as, allegedly, some family members of the Emperor himself. And even with the Fancy being the ship that she was, she shouldn't have been able to take this ship. We're talking about an extremely large disparity in size, in guns and crew. Alright, let's see here. What's the shipwright got here? Nothing new, nothing fancy, which is a shame. We're up to 136, which is pretty good. If we're going to sail east, though, we're going to need more food, and I would like to have more men. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll raid a couple of these trade ships. What is that? Is that an invasion force? That is an invasion force. What the heck? Yeah, no, that's not happening. Get out of here with that nonsense. I'm the only one allowed to do any invading around here. Thank you very much. Yeah, the English being the English, what they ended up doing was just renaming the ship and all of their correspondence to the Gunsway, which, while undeniably being a cool name for a boat, is also very not correct. Alright, that's most of her guns down. Now we can wear down her crew. Also most of her sails, oh my goodness. She's a very unhappy camper. Yeah, there she goes. Yeah, the disparity between the ships was such that, like, if you were trying to board the Ganji Sawai from the Fancy, you were essentially climbing a wall. Pretty remarkable. I'll take all the food. She is a war galleon, so we'll keep her because we can repair her and keep the money. And we just stopped an invasion force from damaging Bonaire or Curacao. I'm sure they'll be very happy about. Repair and sell. We need to sell a bunch of stuff too, though. We'll sell off a bit of food. Right, sell. Perfect. Then we'll go hit the Spanish raider because she's causing issues. 18 guns, 141 men. Don't mind if I do. Is she running? No, she's coming about. We could play it this game. Nope, not happening. Not inclined to acquiesce to your request to get hit by cannonballs, sir. I'll take some sailors. I think that gives us enough to do what I was wanting to do. She's a fast galleon as well, so we can keep her as a tender. And she has a lot of food, so we can keep probably like a year's worth of food and not have to worry about food for a while. So we'll head into Curacao, we'll get her repaired up. And I think we've got enough men to go take Cumana at this point. Alright, repair our ship, repair this ship. We'll keep her for a little bit. Alright, time to do this thing. This might be our last voyage we ever get to undertake, folks. Yeah, so after the taking of the Ganjia Sawai, or the Gunsway, Avery had essentially carried out the single most lucrative act of piracy in history up to that point. Let's see here. Stop into Puerto Cabello again real quick, see if we can get a few more men, because I'm feeling nervous. Yeah, 172. That'll work. I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take it. Raimondo is hiding in the city of Puerto Bello. Okay. Sangre de Cristo, bound for Villa de la Hacha, is carrying over 1,000 in gold. That's chump change at this point. We might hit her on the way, but I don't know. Although I think those numbers, I think they're kind of like a range. So it's like at least 1,000, but it could be more than that. I'm pretty sure. That's what I've like seen anyway. But yeah, after taking the Gunsway, one of the things that's remarkable in the taking of that ship is like in many cases we only have like one side of the story when it comes to a ship being captured. Especially when the other ship... Spanish trader? Is that the one we want? I don't know. What I want is Cumana is what I want. Yeah, often we only have like one side of the story, or we have a situation like we end up often in the Caribbean where one side says, I sunk this ship, the other side says, they sunk my ship. And there's not a lot of the other like meaning sort of built around it. It's treated almost transactionally. But, as luck would have it, yeah, I don't want to mess with that raider. As luck would have it, at the time there was a historian by the name of Muhammad Hasim Kafi Khan, who's one of the most famous Indian historians. And he went around and got a bunch of first and second hand accounts of the capture of the Ganjia Sawai and a lot of the events that sort of like surrounded it. No. Bad. Oh, I didn't even know I could do that. That's very funny. You can just shoot back, I guess. I don't know what that does. I don't know if it benefits at all. I'm going to assume it wears them down, maybe? I think the fort's taking damage. Oh, they're gonna send out pirate hunters now, huh? Okay, okay, so this is getting a little bit more sophisticated than I thought it was gonna be. Oh, I missed. I missed so bad. There's two of them. There's a war galleon and the sloop. That war galleon is scary. This might have been I might have bitten off more than I can chew. Okay, so they're just an escort. They're not even coming after us, I don't think. I think that was just incidental is what that was. Alright, so we've worn them down a bit. Now what happens if we go and we slam into them and we try and take them? 240 soldiers. I guess they reinforced themselves since we last showed up. That is unfortunate. I don't even know if we can actually, like, kill them at all. Let's see, is there anything in the Piratepedia about this? I know that was called blockading, I believe, in the game terms anyway. Nope, doesn't look like it. City? Okay, there are lots of different cities. They can be large or small, rich or poor. Inside the city you can do these things. Okay, that's not what I needed to know. Davy Jones' locker? Bottom of the ocean where scurvy lubbers go when you make them walk the plank by the powers. Good. Florida Keys, guard units. What are guard units? Land battles. That's what we need. Land battles. When your flagship attempts to enter a hostile city, you'll be asked if you want to sneak into the city, attack the city, or sail away. If you choose to attack the city, you will disembark from your ship and lead your crew in a land battle against the town defenders. We end up with pirates, buccaneers, and officers as the three kinds of units, and several different kinds of enemy units. Infantry, guards, cavalry, native bowmen, and native axemen. Okay. Buccaneers are armed with muskets and very good at range. They can fire at enemy units within 4 spaces, but are not good at close combat. Okay. Officers are elite pirates who excel at close combat, but cannot make ranged attacks. Okay. And then pirates are very good at close hand-to-hand combat, but cannot make ranged attacks. Okay. These are like lesser melee units, I guess, and the buccaneers are the range fellas. Interesting. I have been appointed as the new governor of Kumano. I have big plans for economic growth. I assume you'll protect my ship from harm as I travel to my new duties. Probably not, dude. I'm probably gonna sink you. Get some repairs done here because we took some damage. Sorry, bud. It is what it is. Alright, come on. Get out of the irons. There we go. Kind of related to your previous question, Break, there is a term for being stuck directly into the wind. It's called being in the irons, which seems pretty appropriate. Yeah, so Kumano is an option. They have too many troops now. That's a shame. I wonder what the situation on Caracas is. Or maybe Margarita? We can go check Margarita. Because we still have really high morale. We're just low on money. And a little bit low on food. The new governor fails to arrive in Kumano. Corruption runs rampant. Good. Oh, but then they reinforce with troops. So that's not good. That's the opposite of good. Yeah, that looks fightable. Attack the town. 172 pirates versus 180 soldiers. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? Let's see how this goes. Alright, troop placement. Change start location. Alright, so we need nice long lines of fire. What do we have here? It looks like we have officers. There's 1 unit of buccaneers. Like 3 units of buccaneers? Yeah, 3 units of buccaneers, 3 units of pirates, and 1 unit of officers. So we're going to want to have some nice firing lines. Let's see. That would be awkward. That would also be awkward unless we could charge up into the green, maybe? That might be the trick, is that we might want to, like... Yeah, we could use our musketeers, because we have 3 musketeers. If we set up here, this is going to stop them from advancing. We can shoot them up as they come. And then hopefully charge after we have the advantage. Let's try that. Why not? Alright, so we have options here. We hit control, we can turn to different directions, and then we have skip turn, next unit, toggle grid, center view, retreat, and zoom. Okay, so that's just zoom out and zoom in. Center view is centered on that unit, I presume. Yeah. Toggle grid is we can actually see the grid. That's handy. And then I guess these are like turn, maybe move? I don't know if it's move or not is the thing. That's the other issue, is like, what are we looking at here? Can we move this view? We can, okay. So what do we see if they're coming at us? I can see, it looks like a couple units of rifle, a couple units of infantry. So we want to be in a position where we can intercept their infantry with our rifles. And we know the rifles have 4 range. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be a nice battle line if we can get it diagonal here, if we could get it like lateral going that way. We can't move through there is the other issue, so. I'll tell you what, we're just going to skip turn on this guy. Let's see, these buccaneers. Move them here. And then there. That'll work. So it looks like they get 2 moves. Next unit. Next unit? Pirates, okay. These buccaneers. I would like to put them where the pirates are now. So what I'll do is I'll skip until I get to those pirates. We'll move them forward. And then we'll move them here. And they'll act as a screen. Yeah, and then we'll go next unit. These guys. Yeah, and they'll go here. Then they'll go here. That'll work. Maybe. And then I will turn them so that they face that way. Perfect. And there, everyone's out of range of everything, so that's not going to be an issue. And then these guys are going to move here. Yeah, that'll work. And then these pirates will move them up here. Because I think the only way we can actually get anywhere is going to be up through the green, the trees. They're to the north of like this little rocky area. Otherwise, it's just going to be a shooting match. Which hopefully we'll win. Yeah, they're sending a bunch of units up that way. Exactly what they're looking for. Okay, so if we have a range of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, they can shoot them as soon as they're there. Let's see, next unit. Alright, skip these officers. This is interesting. We have 24 pirates. Move them into the trees. These buccaneers can stay here because they need to be ready to shoot, essentially. Center view here. Let's see. Next unit. Yeah, I'll move these guys here. And then turn them so that they face that way. We'll have a little firing line set up there. And shift these forward. And then these officers, we'll use them to hold down the flank, because we'll need to be ready to charge them up, I think. Find out. This is a spicy situation to be in for the first land battle, since I haven't played with these rules before. Let's see here. Skip turn. Skip turn. Pirate turn. Okay. Yeah, now we can shoot. Perfect. Alright, we got first blood on him. That's good. I'll take that. Move these up into the trees, because I presume the trees are going to protect us from ranged damage, maybe. Hopefully. You know? Yeah, cover saves from damage. Divides by 2. Perfect. Get up into close combat. That's not helpful. Thanks, game. 4 attack, 3 defend. +1 morale. Nope, no good. That sucks. Alright. Pull these back a little bit. Yep, cover defends, that's good. Take that. Cover defends, I'll take that. Good. Interview. Alright. Go and attack. F4 attack, 3 defend. Good, we routed them. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Because they keep trying to push our ranged units in. If we can get their ranged units first, then we can kind of kite them, I think. And pick them off as we go. At least maybe. Emphasis on maybe. Alright, we'll skip them. Fire at them. They're going to get into the trees before we can fire at them again is the problem. There's going to be some limited utility there, I'm afraid. then these guys, I'll just skip their turn. Yeah, that little group of pirates is not doing very good. They're just getting hammered. It's terrible. Alright, let's see, next unit. Yeah, we'll get them thinned out a little bit more. Try and thin these guys out, but they have more morale. I guess that's probably based off of, like, proximity, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, we definitely want to keep hammering them as much as we can as they're coming in, I think. Pick off some of their infantry, I think. Oof. Alright, let's see if we can wear him down a little bit more. Damage 29%, good. That's pretty much them all the way out, isn't it? Should be, yeah, like they ran. Good. We'll pull back the officers so they can't be shot out directly. I did not expect to find like a little turn-based RTS in here. Or a turn-based strategy game in here in this way. This is pretty cool. Alright, we're going to keep these guys in cover for now. I'm a little bit worried about them getting chewed up, so we're not going to get super aggressive with them. Maybe try and use them as bait so that our buccaneers can wear on the enemy units, because we've almost got them. They're down to 2 units. And if we take the settlement, that could be huge. Alright. Move these officers back a little bit so they don't get quite so hammered on. And I guess we'll leave these buccaneers here. There's not much of a firing line, honestly, but it's something. These officers back. Yeah. It looks like you can only attack if you haven't moved, which is interesting. That guy's gonna get melted. Yeah, he's done. I think we've got him. I think we've got him in the corner. Yeah, skip turn on those. Fire. Good. These guys will skip turn because they're just our bait, basically. Hammered him. Good. We win. Excellent. Ransom of 2,300 gold pieces. Spanish stronghold of Margarita. Population 1,800 is quiet and desolate. This town is too small and too poor to hold much interest for traders. Oh my goodness. Talk to the governor. Why not? My dear Miss Erebus, please come in. You may be interested to know we're at war with the greedy Dutch. Good to know. I'm troubled to hear that you recently sacked the town of Margarita and captured a Spanish fast galleon. Such offenses will not go unpunished. Goodbye. I mean, you can come punish me if you want to. It's up to you, bud. Welcome aboard, lads. Jean Lafitte's treasure. Near Curacao. Okay, we can find that. We can find that. Yep. Baron Raimondo, I know. Chain shot, huh? Paramaribo? Paramaribo? Interesting. Yeah, we'll get some repairs done here while we can. Cotton sails. Good, that'd be good to grab. We have money for it? Kinda. Sure, why not? Alright, trade with the merchant. We got any good prices? No, your prices are terrible. Oh my goodness. Alright, we're leaving. Where was I? But yeah, so I was saying the historian Kafi Khan, because he was able to get so many like records of the Mughal side of the story, it made it impossible for the East India Company to sweep the situation under the rug, as it were. The Mughal emperor was basically forced to have some sort of massive reaction, and he did have a massive reaction. He ended up closing down 4 of the East India Company's factories in India, and was amassing a force to attack Bombay, which was one of the cities in which East India Company had sort of set up shop. It was one of their major trade hubs in the region, also a site of one of their like largest fortresses. They would build forts there to protect their holdings, and also as kind of an imperial foothold, albeit a soft one. See what the governor has to say here. At war with the evil Spanish, yes I know. Back the town of Margarita, and immigrants are flocking to Bonaire. Excellent, the king will be pleased. I am now a duchess. Ship upgrades will be done at cost in Dutch ports. We just get free upgrades. How great is that? Yeah, I think we're just about at the end of this playthrough. Because one of 2 things is going to happen. Either we're going to like succeed massively, and this will be our last voyage, or we're going to fail horribly, and this will be our last voyage. Because I don't think our poor character's health is going to stand up to too much of this. So we'll go for Curacao, I think, because that was the map we have currently. Yeah, near Curacao. Which we're pretty close to anyway. I think we're actually on Curacao, aren't we? Southwest of Curacao, okay. So from Curacao, we go southwest. And then what we're looking for in terms of, we're looking for an arched rock, an incantemel, something like that. Like 3 little points on the coast. Probably around here. One of these 2. It can't be either of these because these towns, these little settlements aren't on the map. So maybe it's between them. Or possibly over near Versailles. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Alright, southwards we go. Yeah, the Mughal emperor took it to the point where he was even like going and jailing officers of the East India Company, like businessmen. Which, you know, is pretty huge. Very large step. And so the East India Company was left scrambling, trying to figure out exactly how they were going to cover their butts. And ended up promising to cover all of the losses from Henry Avery's raid. And in addition, yeah, I'll take all your treasure. Thanks, buddy. They ended up having to promise to cover all the losses from Avery's raid, and they also ended up promising to secure Indian trade at sea for the foreseeable future, using their own ships, by the way. Which would later come back to bite the Mughal Empire in the butt, because suddenly they weren't handling their own affairs anymore when it came to like defense. But that's a story for another time. Alright, let's try going ashore here. Alright, so look at our map again. What we're looking for is an Incan temple with an arched rock nearby, or a dead tree. I think this is a temple. We want an arched rock to the east, I think. Yeah, there's an arched rock nearby, so I think we're in the right area. Then we need to head due west of that in order to find the treasure. So it's going to look like a mound with a bunch of like skulls and stuff on it. Which, that's it right there. Perfect. Buried treasure, just like that. So much easier than in Sea of Thieves. $7,000 gold pieces. Jean Lafitte's treasure is ours. So yeah, this is where Avery runs afoul of the situation. He quickly learns one of the cardinal rules of operating under capitalism, whether it's early capitalism or it's late stage capitalism, which is never run afoul of a multinational corporation, which is exactly what he does unintentionally. Because in Avery's mind, he's attacking someone who he would see as a heathen. He does not in any way regard anyone with the beliefs that the people aboard that ship had as being like his equal in any way, or as someone who the shooting of or the raiding of or the stealing from is going to get him in trouble. He thinks he can get away with it. The only problem was, by doing that, he's ticked off the East India Company. Eat Bonnet's treasure, might as well. Let's duel this guy. I love a good sword fight. So yeah, in addition to having to spend all of this money, all of these funds covering their butt, the East India Company, because they're connected to the crown, you can see my character's old and their health isn't very good now, so they're definitely a little slower on the sword than they were previously. A little bit of a problem. She's not as quick as she used to be. Yeah, it's a problem. Old age sucks. So much for that. Alright, we'll get our repairs done while we're here. Get a free upgrade, why not? Trade with the merchant. So yeah, Avery ends up being declared a hostis humani generis, which is to say, an enemy of all mankind, is the label that's applied to him and his men, which is important because it means that anyone, regardless of their nationality, no matter what waters they find Avery in, they can sink his ship and take him. They can kill him extrajudicially. He has no requirement for any sort of like trial, anything of that nature. They don't have to. He doesn't have to be in or around English holdings. He's done for wherever they find him, is sort of the intention. And he becomes the subject of the world's one of the first recorded truly like international manhunts. Everyone's looking for this guy. Alright, sail away here. I've decided as the last sort of like the finale of my career, I want to take on my nemesis, personal nemesis in real life, Captain Jack Rackham. We're going to sail north. We're going to head for Hispaniola. We're going to try and hunt down the infamous Captain Rackham. Put him to rights. So the situation in which Avery finds himself is that he's hunted, but he has the advantage of the fact that it takes a very long time to spread any sort of news across the open sea. So what Avery ends up doing is he runs for the island of New Providence in the Caribbean, also known as Nassau. And the fact that he goes to Nassau in particular ends up being extremely important to the golden age of piracy as a whole. Because what he ends up doing there, the governor at the time was a man named Nicholas Trott. See if we can find Rackham. Pirate Raiders, I think that might be him. No, it's just a raider. And the situation that Trott found himself in was very interesting because Trott, at the time, New Providence didn't have very many men at all. It technically had a fort, but the fort was in terrible repair, and he had barely enough men to man the guns. Jack Rackham is at sea. Okay. He should be around here about... Yeah, I'll take some men aboard. Why not? Medicinal herbs help you prolong your life. It can be yours for only 1,000 gold pieces. Yeah, I'll take it. Why not? You never know, it might work. Raimondo's down near the isthmus, it looks like. Yeah, so Trott's in the situation where like Avery still has 130 men, and he's not introducing himself as Avery, he's introducing himself as Henry Bridgman. Sort of this combining of his actual name and his sort of like nom de guerre of Long Ben Bridgman. Alright, Rackham, where are you? There he is. Get over here, you bastard. You're mine. Get over here, you. I like this model. This is a really cute model. I'm basically having to fight defensively here. Because I can't, I'm not fast enough anymore to actually, like, do much. There he goes. There we go. Got him. And he's done. Fantastic. $2,200 gold pieces, some cannons, and a bit of spice. Not much to take, but, you know, it'll work. And we'll take his boat, because why not? Love a good boat. And we've knocked number 9 off the list. Jack Rackham's career has come to an end. Good on us. French merchantman with 65 men. Why not? But yeah, so Trott ends up in a situation where he doesn't know that this person is Henry Avery. All he knows is there are 130 dudes with a big boat and a lot of guns who have suddenly showed up on his doorstep. They're looking to pay him 3 times his annual salary just to, like, let them hang out for a while, and they're also going to give him the fancy. And if he says no, they're probably going to beat him up anyway. So from Trott's perspective, it's kind of a no-win situation. But if he just accepts the deal, it's a no-lose. And on top of that, what's going to happen most likely, since he's taking their ship anyway, these men are going to settle in Nassau, most likely, at least for a time. Some of them are probably going to stay. But then his manpower situation is going to solve itself, because suddenly he's going to have an influx of new blood, and on top of that, these men clearly know how to fight. They're hard men. He has eyeballs. You can probably see that the Fancy's taken a bunch of damage. Like, Bridgman, or Avery at this time is passing himself off as Bridgman as an illegal slaver, essentially, as an unsanctioned slaver. And he's like, what's a slave ship doing with a bunch of cannonball holes in the side, most likely, right? So Trott takes him up on his offer. He accepts the money from Avery and his crew. He accepts the Fancy as a gift, and they leave a bunch of guns and ammo. They leave ivory on board for him. They make sure this man is well paid for his troubles, and they spend some time on Nassau. So now what Avery has done, he hasn't covered himself in regards to the East India Company, or in regards to how the British Crown is going to see him, but he has, at every step along the way, made the sorts of moves that in a previous era might have helped him to do very, very well for himself. The same sort of moves that Henry Morgan made, which is to say you go and you don't really ask permission, you just ask forgiveness later. And you take from people who either are at war with you or soon will be, or who simply aren't like affiliated with the belief systems that are convenient to the project of colonization, which the Mughals were very much in the way of. At least as far as the East India Company was concerned. So despite the fact that he's kind of on the outs with the East India Company and the Crown, Avery has already cemented for himself the legend of the man who overthrew like an unjust situation with let's see, Bonaire or Aruba. Oh, we need to go further west. Not only has he overthrown an unjust situation in which, like, as far as he and his men knew, they thought they were going to be sold to the Spanish as pressed men for their privateering operations. So they committed a mutiny, yes, but also it was justified on some level. And then they went as gentlemen of fortune, and they left the letter behind that Avery left. They weren't fighting against the English at all. They were only taking enemy prizes. They have raided people on Hajj. They've taken all of their wealth, and they have gotten away with it. And they've gotten to the island of Nassau, which has like saved them and protected them and allowed them sanctuary. So it's got like all the different pieces of a really big, like really good, popular pirate story, really. But I don't know, that'll work. Okay, with the merchant, we'll sell off some of this stuff. It's got all the best pieces, you know, adventure on the high seas, and like, of course, it's gone from mouth to mouth at this point. And 1,000 different ways that the story will be told over time. And Avery has sort of cemented himself as a legend amongst the people who really matter when it comes to like telling stories throughout time, and that's, you know, us, the common people. Those are the stories we remember, even though there are some of us who are interested in history, and there's some history that we're inevitably taught just as being part of society. Do we have any more maps? No, we don't. No headway on Stede Bonnet's treasure. We should have to stop at a few ports and see if we can get any pieces of that. But yeah, like after a time, like most of Avery's crew ends up leaving Nassau in one way or another, taking their cut with them. And they're spread like all over the place. A lot of them are very loud about it. Okay, another Stede Bonnet treasure map chunk. I can't do much here because that guy's got it locked down. I'll get an upgrade, why not? Oops. A few of them end up getting very, very loud. A lot of them actually end up heading up the coast to the North American colonies. That's where a number of them are caught, and like over time they sort of get picked off in 2s and 3s and 4s. And they get taken back to England to be put on trial, which is how we have most of the... Uh-oh, that's not good. I forgot food. That's very bad. I should not have forgotten food. Yeah, and then the trials of these men are how we have most of the records that we do have of Henry Avery's voyage and his mutiny specifically. Alright, we gotta get food. Keep forgetting the downside of having a big crew is that we don't have a lot of food on hand. Alright, we're gonna sail down and harass the Spanish a little bit more as before we round out this voyage. But yeah, the interesting thing about all of this though is no one knows what happens to Avery. Some people, like it's generally thought that he and some of his men ended up taking a couple different sloops back to England, and that he disappeared somewhere in England. But there's no record of like where he went. He got away with it. He escaped. He got away free and clear. He was never caught. No one ever cashed in the bounty that was on his head. At one point, he had a $250,000 bounty in like today's money. It was much, it was a much smaller amount, but like essentially a $250,000 bounty on him personally. And he just got away with it. Ooh, San Jose. Okay. I can figure out where that's at. Alright. Piratepedia. San Jose. And Juan. And Domingo. I guess it's too small. It must be too small. That's a shame. Is it on our map anyway by any chance? Because we have the Dutch rudder, we have the little thing that is supposed to show us where some of these are, right? Santamon. I bet you it's up since we fought Stede Bonnet. Stede Bonnet was up on Cuba. I bet you if it's anywhere, it's up here. Havana. San Cristiana. Nope, that's not it. San Liaria? I don't know. Some of these I've got nailed down. A lot of them I don't. All right, I think we'll have to get to the last piece. There it is, San Jose. So it's on the island. It's on near San Juan. So it's off of Hispaniola. Okay, we can get that. And sail north. I hope we don't get mutinied before we get there. We'll take some prizes as we go to try and placate the crew, right? But yeah, after all of that, Avery gets away free and clear. And the fact that he gets away free and clear after all of these things, after this like extraordinary sort of tale, is what ends up with him becoming like this image of King of the Pirates, like the image of Henry Avery is the archetype that drives so many men in the Golden Age of piracy to undertake the path that they do. It leads to his voyage, like from Madagascar, heading up to the Gulf of Aden. Like that becomes standard practice. It becomes known as the pirate round. And even after the Golden Age of piracy is ended, we'll sinker. Even after the Golden Age of piracy is ended, the pirate round still maintains a large amount of its value. Like there are a couple different periods in history in which it's exploited, specifically because it's so vital to shipping. Smack this guy down. So when we start talking about, Pirates of the Golden Age, we start talking about your Charles Vanes and your Blackbeards and your Black Sam Bellamy's and like all these other characters that we know a lot better than we know Henry Avery. It's worth bearing in mind that the image in a lot of their minds, when they think of pirate, when the idea comes in their head of like this person who's like living free and wild and like fighting for their ideals and whatever, gentlemen of fortune, Henry Avery's who they're thinking of. He's the Jack Sparrow of his time, basically, to put it crudely. Alright, a lot of spice. That's good. Okay, fleet status. I don't want that trade galleon. I'm going to abandon her. Yeah, get rid of her. Yep, there's San Juan. Like, there is a historian by the name of... Let me find it. I wrote it down because it was really good. Yeah, a historian by the name of Marcus Rediker, who wrote an excellent book called Atlantic Pirates in the Golden Age. Like, when he's describing Avery, the way he puts it is, like, pirates constructed a culture of masterless men. They were as far removed from traditional authority as any man could be in the early 18th century. Before the church, beyond the family, beyond disciplinary labor, and using the sea to distance themselves from the powers of the state, they carried out a strange experiment. The pirates expressed collectivistic ethos of life at sea by the egalitarian and comradely distribution of life chances, the refusal to grant privilege or exemption from danger, and the just allocation of shares. That was the image of Avery that was carried forward, but also, because this was on the cusp of, this was on like right in the middle of the big colonial experiment, of course a lot of the damage they had to do to other people to get to that point was ignored or overwritten. We don't hear the stories of the people who were the victims of piracy, who were the victims of slave trade, you know, sanctioned or otherwise. But yet, because these stories are told, because these stories are valued, because they exist in history, we can read within that empty space if we pay attention. We can read inside of that empty space and find the echoes of these stories, find the things that aren't mentioned, find the things that are overwritten. And on top of that, looks like it's southwest. Yeah, southwest. There we go. Yeah, perfect. Easy peasy. Yeah, 6,000 gold pieces, Stede Bonnet's treasure. I'll take it. We also get a really good image of like how the incentivization of capitalism, especially early capitalism, drove a lot of the same sorts of images that we see nowadays hoisted up as ideals, hoisted up as like goals. You have like financiers referring to themselves as Vikings and pirates of business. You know, people who are venture capitalists who are going to show up and like strip all of the flesh they can get away with off of a given institution and then sell the pieces. They still like use that image because ultimately Avery's project wasn't, in the way that Rediker tried to put it, it wasn't some like grand goal of creating a culture of masterless men. His goal was to be the person on top, the person in charge. So he was perfectly okay with stepping on whoever he needed to, killing whoever he needed to, enslaving whoever he needed to get to that goal, much in the same way that we see capitalism nowadays, bringing all of us to that point. If you want to be successful, if you want to have more, if you want to survive in many cases, you have to set sail. You have to be willing to like operate within the parameters in order to get ahead and escape. The thing is, you just don't. It doesn't matter if you're the head of the East India Company or you're first mate of the fancy. Like, you're still stuck. You're never going to get out of it. Until it's dismantled, until it's, like, taken away. Until we can try something new. Which, like, to the credit of men like Avery, they thought they were trying to do something new. It turns out that within the lens of history, what they ended up doing was just reinforcing and creating the same cage that keeps all the rest of us kind of locked up. I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm just thinking out loud, playing a silly pirate game on the internet. So, you know, take it or leave it. Double check my stuff, always. Double check everybody's stuff. Let's see if we can divide up this treasure. Alright, what do we got to sell to the merchant? We've got a bunch of spices, we've got a bunch of sugar. We've got plenty of food for the moment, which is very, very nice. That makes me happy. If we go to the shipwright, looks like we can get some upgrades, which is cool. We can also sell the Sobrano, I think, because I think we're going to split up the treasure here. I don't anticipate being able to get too much further along, given that we didn't make as much progress early on as we probably needed to. Talk to the governor and see if we get anything out of this. I think they're still at war with the Spanish. No, I don't want to dance, thank you. Alright. We're gonna end this in Jamaica. We're gonna sail to Port Royal, like true buccaneers of the Silver Age, and tie up all the loose ends. 1 second here. There we go. Yeah, I think this might be our last stream for this game in particular. I'm not sure what I'm going to play next. I'll probably go back to Sea of Thieves for a little while, because there are a few big games, or a few big updates coming to that game soon. I'm also thinking about maybe adding a third day here and there. Probably something like Survival Crafty, like a little bit of like we were doing with Vintage Story a while back. Maybe something that takes place in space instead of on the ocean. That could be fun, right? A different flavor of Navy, perhaps. Maybe something like Space Engineers or Planet Crafter or whatever. So if anyone has any thoughts there or anything they'd like to see, please do let me know. Alright, how are we doing here? Almost to Port Royal. Let's see, can we hit this girl as we go? Might be able to. I think we can. Got a little French merchantman. Ooh, a French troop transport. Yeah, don't mind if I do. Get over here. That's right, that's what I thought. Give me all your stuff, please. Thank you. Ugh. Yeah, I might as well keep her, because we're going to be sailing anyway. French brig of war. Yeah, no thanks. I don't want to tangle with that. That is one thing I'd really enjoy about this game that I'd like to see in more games, is like the different nations that you're playing against have different ships, different styles of ships. So the Dutch have the flauts. Your French, of course, have your brigs. I think the English have brigs as well. And then like for the Spanish, it's always the galleons, which is really nice. It's pretty cool. But yeah, the beauty of finishing up with Henry Avery is that for future streams, I'm probably going to start talking a little bit about Nassau and the Republic of Pirates, which should be a lot of fun. There's a lot of colorful characters to discuss. Might end up taking that tack. Might take a little break off just playing some silly fun games. I don't know yet. We'll see. Sell off our merchantman here. Sell off some of this good stuff. Talk to the governor. Yeah, upgrade to Countess. I was hoping you would return, however your generous gift has come to the attention of my fiancé, a very jealous senior lieutenant. In fact, he's challenged you to a duel upon your next visit. As much as I detest the thought of bloodshed, I do hope you'll prove yourself to be a fearless swordsman upon your return. Oh no! I'm too old for this, literally. I can't win a duel. It's not gonna happen. Oh dear. I can barely fight defensively with like 150 men at my back. This is not ideal. Alright, let's divide the plunder. Alright. I think I need to retire from pirating. I think it's time, my friends. It's been a good run. Well, it's time to tally up all the points and see where we land. I could go again, but then also like your health is another big indicator of how well you retire. And I don't think we've got the means to get another voyage out of this. Yeah, it's time to retire. Alright, let's see. You retire at the age of 35 in poor health. You take up residence in the city of Port Royal with the profession of innkeeper, and though a bachelor, you retain fond memories of the attractive daughter of the governor of Port Royal. Your title of Dutch Duchess makes you an influential citizen. Your accumulated wealth of 20,571 gold pieces and 2,500 acres of land provide you an extravagant lifestyle in a mansion near the town center. Sadly, the evil Marquis de la Montalban remains at large, a threat to good people everywhere. You're able to rescue one of your missing family members. Joy is tempered with sadness as you live out your remaining years. Your hard-won victories make you the 6th most notorious pirate on the entire Spanish Main. The story of your dramatic encounters and far-ranging travels is told around the fireside. Alright, so we ended as a countess with the English and a duchess with the Dutch. We rescued Sister, didn't find any of the lost cities. We beat Stede Bonnet and Jack Rackham. We found 6 different treasures and ended up with a fame of 41, which puts us at the rank of innkeeper. Which, you know, it's not too bad. It's the upper end of the middle, right? Upper middle class, I guess, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, just look at all the different things that you can end up with in this game. You can become like a clerk, a fisherman, you can end up being a constable, a butler, like all of these different roles that you can sort of end up with in the end of your career. And then when you're done, you can see the Hall of Champions here. And every time you play this game, it gives you your total score, how much gold you plundered, your rank, how many pirates you retired, like all these different things that then become part of your story. And then you can start it over and play again. Anyway, I guess it's time to go a raiding, see who you can raid today. Thank you very much for coming and hanging out, everybody. I'm going to pull up the channel raid here real quick. I'll give a Windows browser or a browser view so we can see who we got. See who we're following that we've got today. Looks like Jam Jams is up along with doing their Pride Month stream. We might go and say hi to them. Britty Bear is currently streaming. I think we raided her last week. Fuzzy Bond is streaming. Let's see. Has anyone got any recommendations before we spring for that? Because I think we might pile in on Jam Jam's stream. Because they've only been up for, looks like 3:25. Is that 3 hours 25 or is that 3 minutes 25? That's got to be hours. Let's see if I click their stream. Let's see how close to the end they are.
Grab some of those.
Thank you. I really try. You know, I try my butt off here.
You tried to make this up.
Yeah, it looks like they're still kind of like towards the end of their streams. Yeah, I think we'll go in with Jam Jams and we'll see how they're doing. So they've been doing a series of interviews all for Pride Month, taking various like streamers all over Twitch and sort of asking them about their lives and experiences as, you know, queer folk in general. Yeah, I think that'll be our raid. Next stream is going to be Tuesday. I think we're going to be playing some Sea of Thieves. Will be the overall vibe there. And probably talking about something related to the golden age of piracy. Salute to you as well, Rose. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Thanks for coming and hanging out.
What do you mean?
So, like, in terms of like